Have you seen a Bigfoot? Possibly a Dogman. Maybe you've been abducted by UFOs, or you've seen that scary ghost in your grandma's basement. We got open lines tonight, so call and talk to us about it. Something like that.
Something big is spooking residents. Multiple people have claimed to see a large furry animal trudging through the woods.
I literally could see him from all the way over here. I started hearing it. It was very large, and it was running so fast.
Your source for campers in Taos County. The Sheriff's Office is sharing safety tips on social media to protect yourself from
Bigfoot.
I saw something out of the corner of my eye off the side of the road in a culvert.
It's not like a bear, and it wasn't like a coyote. I've never seen anything like that.
No details, big, like 10-foot foam, big figure. It freaked out, hit in the leg.
I don't think it registered what it was.
What's the likelihood that there are big animals that have gone undetected by scientists and by trained observers?
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show, the Sunday night call-in show. And you heard it right. Tonight, we're going to just open the lines. If you've seen any kind of thing in this weird phenomena that we call life, you're going to want to give us a call tonight, 850-695-0522, because we want to hear your story. And everybody here wants to hear your story as well. Before we do that, I want to give a shout out to all the members on this page. You too can become a member today. And what you'll get, depending on the level, you get custom emojis, you get your shout outs, you get members only content, discounts on merchandise. And if you're a cave dweller, you get that free expedition, that group members only expedition, which is going to be coming up. So, we'll be announcing details on that before too long. But I'm going to go ahead and shout out to the members that we do have on the page. It's growing. I'm honest with you. I didn't think I'd ever get more than 10. So to have as many as I'm about to read blows my mind. And thank you all so much for making this channel possible with your support. So Kev2917, Old Tom Bombadil 69, Brooke Williams 3740, Z Kugler 051, Varmint 62, Lou 1P, Tracy Stanley K6B, Wendy Hewitt 7119, Ted R. Thomas Jr., Josh Rickley, Rhonda Lee 214, Jim Fox 3496, Jason Williams K1S, Marcus Critical, Sean Rathbone 4457, Laura Walker 1359, Truckin' Jake 815, R Goddard 30, Todd Porterfield 5358, Cody 2102, Jesse Strancher, Forever Jets 80, Melissa Palazzi. I'm butchering y'all's names and I apologize. You have to forgive me. Amy Alo, AVT Prepper, Florida Skunk 8256, Kat Lee, Jerry Brandenburg 5030, Robert Fuller 9522, Squatching Granny 65. Oh, Jerry Brandenburg, I'm going to email you back, bud. I've been meaning to do it, and I've been busy. Pop Smoke, The Orb Enforcer, Eugene Page 7248, Chrissy Michelle 6153, Eric Fitz 1985, Dean Pollard 2869, RDL 29073, Larry Sharp 4193, Windwalker 1, Zuli Torres 9657, D Villaro, STV Walden 1, North Ward 7, Jackie DP, J Rich 850, Brian Davis 82973, Busby 1972, Jason and Stacy, Flat Rock WB 19, Hartgrove Meacham, Daniel Smith 7556, Christina Cryptids, Rachel Garrard 8019, and Bloodwolf 1968. That's all of my members. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Really means a lot. It's how we get things done around here. So tonight, the long-awaited giveaway. We're going to give away 2 of these DVDs to the 5th caller when I open the lines. And then we're also going to raffle off 2 tickets to the Dogman expedition, or to the LBL expedition, I should say, not Dogman. While we will be looking for Bigfoot, if Dogman is there, then Dogman is there. Maybe he comes and finds us. But we're going to raffle those off tonight for anybody that's interested. But I hope everybody's weekend went well. I went to Torreya State Park last night with I took the executive producer from The Proof Is Out There. He wrote a book based on the TV show, the History Channel show. The Proof Is Out There. And he liked our story, liked our footage, and he wanted me to take him out. So took him out there, and that was the first time I have stayed the night at the film site since my father passed away in December of 2018. So I've only been back there a handful of times since he passed away. So it was cool in that aspect, getting to tell the story to him, show him around and stuff. Was an awful quiet night. No Sasquatch activity. Only got 2 ticks on me, so kind of super thrilled about that. But so like I said before, we were about to open the lines. Not going to have a topic we talk about tonight, but we're just going to take your calls. And if you have, like I said, any kind of encounter, want to hear them. We don't have to stick to this part, just Bigfoot. We're Bigfoot the rest of the time. So why not, take some other calls? Because we have some wild ass stories sometimes, no matter what, and I get a lot of emails like, yo, man, I would have loved to call in, but I don't really have a Bigfoot encounter. I have yada yada encounter. And there's no real call-in show. Art Bell's not kind of doing it anymore. And sure, I think Coast to Coast still does it sometimes. But why would we discriminate? Let's get some of these other calls in, because you never know. Some of these stories might just blow our minds. I know the damn Curly's Canyon one, that guy tried to call into the show first. He couldn't get through, and he ended up emailing me. But that was a wild ass story that came from this show. So, anyways, all right. So the lines are now open. 850-695-0522. If anybody wants to share their stories, Bigfoot, Dogman, ghosts. I know Windwalker in the chat. He loves Dogman. He hopes he sees a Dogman. He wishes he was a Dogman, which is kind of weird, but he eats Alpo. And so it kind of makes him a Dogman, right? But, maybe we can get some good Dogman calls from our buddy Windwalker, because he just loves them. He really does. It's helped him cope ever since, like, Murder, She Wrote got canceled. He's had a large void in his life, and Dogman is helping him fill that void. So, love you, buddy. We're gonna work things out for you. We'll get you more Dogman. I'm working on it. I'm really working on it. So, it was cool last night. Like I said, I took out Miguel Sancho from the Proof Is Out There, and I don't think old dude ever been camping before, honestly. Like, he's a TV, guy, Hollywood type guy. But he never seen an armadillo before. And so we heard a noise and he's like, "Oh, what's that?" He kind of jumped about it. And then, just listened to the sound. I was like, "Oh, it's an armadillo." And it started coming and coming. And then I was like, it's coming all the way up to us. And then it came down this hill. And it come down into the little road we were standing on, a little dirt trail. And it looked at us and it stood there, paused for a minute. And he was like, "Oh, shit." And then took off running. But that was the first time dude had seen an armadillo, to me was crazy. Like, I thought everybody had seen an armadillo. So it's kind of like taking a kid on safari, because a lot of that stuff he had never kind of been a part of, He said he had always wanted to do it, but never kind of got out there into the woods. And so it was cool to take him out. What was not cool is that dude wakes up at like 6 a.m. and I didn't go to bed till like 1:15. And he gets up, and by the time I wake up, he's leaving. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I got to go, man. I got to get to Orlando, get the rental car back." And he hauls ass, and I break down camp and towed everything out, and drive home. And then it took me a nap. I went back to sleep. I was like too tired. But it was, you don't need coffee in the mornings if you're having to get up and break down a tent and tote that shit like 1.5 miles uphill out of the woods. So, somebody said they shoot armadillos. Oh, no. And they don't taste good. I always wondered, because I know people that eat armadillos. I've always wondered if, what they tasted like. But I don't have the heart to kill anything anymore. I don't. I used to. I even feel bad when I go fishing. Like, ever since the Conjuring house and we did that World Gate experiment, my view on like life, even like an ant's life, it completely changed. I didn't see things as insignificant anymore. Maybe a little bit of hippie coming out in me or something in my older age. But yeah, I don't enjoy hunting anymore. I can't imagine killing something. I used to, though. I used to love it. I used to love to go hunting. That was fun. You shoot it, eat it, clean it, do the whole 9 yards. Felt like you accomplished something. But in today's world, we don't have to do that. And I don't get much sport out of it anymore. Once again, lines are open. 850-695-0522. All you party people out there. You want to call in, share your stories. We had like 5 calls last weekend that I didn't get to. Maybe you people are listening and would like to call back. In other news, in other Stacey Brown news, my movie Tate, my short film of Tate's Hell, I'm going to be releasing that soon. We have finished the script for the feature length version. It's going to end up being about an hour 10, hour and 15-minute movie. So we're going to release the short film so people can see it, I'm excited for y'all to get it out. Like, all the reviews we got from people were really good. So BBD waiting to be the fifth caller. When Walker says maybe somebody will call with a hearse for sale. Maybe they will, brother. That'd be great, because then I'll come pick you up and we'll go find a Dogman. Straight to it. Straight to it, bro. But yeah, I'm going to try to shoot that movie in November. If all pans out, we will be shooting in November in Wakulla County and maybe a little bit in Gainesville. There's a western town down there we're going to rent. All right. Well, what does the fifth caller win tonight? Fifth caller is going to win my new DVD series, Bigfoot, The Journey to Belief. If you're a member, you've seen the first 2 episodes already. If you've rented these off of our website, bigfootjtb.com, you've seen the whole thing. But there's extra interviews and an extra documentary on there as well. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Since nobody's on the call with their stories right now. Let's go ahead. Fifth caller right now will win a copy of my new DVD, and I'll ship it out free of charge to you this week. So, like I said, lines are open. Oh, look at that. Max Cat giving us the update, guys. Stacy, we are currently beating Dick Hijacks Untold Stories. He means Doug Hijack. I think your autocorrect got you there, buddy. I'm beating him 2-1 in viewership of Sunday, 8 p.m. at the moment. Great job. I follow you both. That's something, man, because we haven't been doing it that long. And we're only broadcasting to YouTube, So I'm going to start broadcasting the call-in shows on maybe Facebook and Instagram or something, just so it gets out to a larger audience so more people will call. Right. This call-in show, we used to have like 250 people watching at one time. Right now we got 86. I don't know what's happened, but ever since that Patty news broke, the Bigfoot channels have taken a hit, bro. They have taken a hit. All the viewership seems to be down about 25% on all channels. And maybe it'll come back. Maybe it won't. Either way, we're still here. Okay, so nobody's calling in. Talking about the woman who was attacked in Oklahoma. I do not know the story about the woman who was attacked in Oklahoma. So no, I have not spoken about it. But we could look that up. It goes right to message. That may be why. Oh, wow. You got to hit the damn button. Okay, the lines are now officially open. Call back. The viewership will come back. It's going to ebb and flow. This show's going to ebb and flow just like everything else. Sometimes there'll be a lot of people watching it, but people to tune in, week out. As we build that bigger fan base, bigger viewership, it will grow. But okay, Dean, the phone lines are officially now open. I was on the fault on that. Okay. You're on the Bigfoot Underground.
What number?
You're number 1, brother. You're going to have to call back.
All right, now I'm number 1. I'm going to be number 2, I guess.
I hope
all right,
not. Bye-bye. All right, so we got our first caller in. I guess I'm going to have to look up a damn topic to talk to y'all about tonight. Here we go. I'm going to make him call 5 times. Oh, it's not connected. Okay, there we are. It
is connected.
Yeah, there it is. You are caller number 2.
I know, it's caller number 1. I'll be talking to you in a second.
All right, buddy. You're on the Bigfoot Underground. You are caller number 3. Can you hear me?
Officially now open.
Okay. All right. You are caller number 4.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And who will be the 5th one? Let's see here. You are caller number 5.
Rock and roll.
Hey, it took you, bro. There was like 2 other people calling in. So, okay, let me get your name. Who are we talking to?
Dean Pollard. Dean Pollard.
Dean Pollard. Oh, Dean, what's up, brother? All right, Dean.
Nothing, man. I'm trying to win that, man.
Yeah, well, you just won, brother. You just won.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, so
you got my address and everything still, right? Or do you need it again?
I will look it up. If I don't, I'll just shoot you an email again, but I should have it because I know you won the Dogman shirt last time. But
no, I won the hat.
You won the hat. That's what it was. You won the hats.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah,
right,
I'll hook you up, man, and I'll get it mailed out this week.
Excellent. Thank you, brother.
All right, brother.
Let's get back to the show.
All right, buddy. All right. Bye. Okay. That's our 5 callers for now. We're going to give out one more of those things here later in the night. I'm going to go ahead and open the lines back up because like that guy called 3 times and I got 7 other calls. 7 other numbers come in. I don't know if people are watching on a delay because it's like I give it to him and then people are still calling. So the lines are back open, but this time not for this time about your stories. We've already did the giveaway. If you've seen anything, ghost, Bigfoot, Nessie, whatever, call in and let's talk about it. Okay, Rhonda Lee. Stacy, I have an odd question that popped in my head the other day. I don't want to keep anybody from being able to get through on the phone. Well, Rhonda, call right now and you can ask your question. That's how it works. You call, you're good. Ain't nobody calling right now anyways. Give us something to talk about, please. Call back. Texas Rigged, you were so close, dude. You were like caller number 7, dude. I'm shocked ain't nobody accused this of being rigged now that Dean has won 2 of the prizes. No Donald Trump's out there going to accuse it of being rigged. It's got to be somebody. Well, Texas made morphs. I'm driving right now, or I call in and tell my ghost story. Dude, you can still call in and tell you. I'm sure you can call and talk as you drive. But I want you to be safe, buddy, just in case you can't. But yeah, hey, when you get to your destination, give us a holler. Give us a holler. Don't be nervous to call in, people. Nobody can see your face. Nobody knows your real name. The hell with all these people. Who cares? Definitely, they're not going to, know who you are or laugh at you in any kind of way, right? They're watching a Bigfoot call-in show, brother. There's nothing to be nervous about. They're just as crazy as you are. Jimmy Barwick just become a member. Thank you so much, brother. I will see you this week, Jimmy. Super excited about that. We got a call. Spring, Texas. Did we talk somebody into calling from Texas? Let's see about it. You're on the Bigfoot Underground.
Hey, Stacey, how's it going?
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing all right. Just decided to call in because I've been wanting to tell you an orb story.
Well, hell,
that I experienced a couple years ago, man.
I'm glad you did, because I've been wanting to hear an orb story. So,
and I made a comment on your channel, a couple days ago about this. So I've been waiting for about a week, and I tried to call in last Sunday, but I was doing Uber Eats.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, trying to multitask. And I was like, you know what? I'll just wait till next week.
Brother, I quit the damn Uber Eats. My biggest problem was the restaurants would never have the food ready, and you had to wait on them. And then the people get mad.
Yeah, it's a problem.
So that's why I went to picking up people, which wasn't much better. There's its own problems with that. Like, you're letting insane people in your car.
Right. Yeah, it only gets worse if you pick up people. I'd rather just pick up the food.
Yeah, it's way better. Well, let's go ahead. Let me quit fucking rambling about other shit. Let's hear your orb story, dude.
Man, so this was about 2 years ago. I haven't really told many people about this. Probably just my brother and maybe my mom and my best friend. But I was working at a bar at the time, and I was a security guard there. So, closing a bar, sometimes you get out at like 2 or 3 a.m. And I've lived in the same house and in the same neighborhood my whole life. Like, I've lived here for 31 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so nothing is really like new to me. And if it is, I notice it. And I'm driving home one night, just probably about 3 o'clock in the morning, and at the entrance of my neighborhood, the road that I have to enter is kind of like if you drew an S and then stretched out the ends to where it was like a long S curve, but just not as drastic or not as curved, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a 4-way stop that I can see. And so I enter my neighborhood and I'm driving to the stop sign that I've driven by 1,000 times. But man, this is the only time where I didn't know what I was seeing. In the center of the 4-way intersection that I always pass through is a volleyball sized, or maybe between like a volleyball or basketball size orange orb.
Okay.
Just sitting in the center of the intersection. And as I'm driving through the S curve, and I'm making and how do I explain this? Like, I'm driving through the S curve, my hand's turning right on the wheel. The lights of my car are tracing to the right. And as the lights of my car cross over this orb, it acts as if it got caught doing something, and it hesitated, like it almost like if you caught someone doing something that they weren't supposed to be doing, and they have to like figure out which way to go,
mm-hmm.
to hide or to dodge, whatever. This orb made like a hesitant movement in the air and then shot down another road that would lead to another neighborhood, essentially. And so when I come to this 4-way stop and I see this thing just it just took off down the road, I just slowly come up to the stop sign and I turn my head left and I'm looking for this thing, and it's gone. It's not there. So it either, I don't know where it went, but it acted as if it got caught. And I don't know how to explain that. And man, then the story just gets a little weirder because I'm not sure if it's directly related to the orb. But the next night, I had an experience where I had a sleep paralysis experience where, I don't know if you've ever played the game Don't Wake Daddy, like from the 90s, the board game.
Oh, yeah. I played that.
Where it like pops up out of the bed.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but you can...
No, you're good, man. You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I'm so nervous, but yeah, like I had a sleep paralysis experience where I popped out of the bed like to a 45-degree angle. and my arms are just dangling by my side, and I'm not holding myself up, but I'm being choked in midair, and I can hardly breathe, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And so the only thing I could think of was to say the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer, and when I finished that, I slowly got let down into the bed, and then like my eyes were trained on something that I couldn't see, but I knew it was there. Yeah, man, I had to let that out. I'm so sorry.
So, was anybody else in the room with you?
No, I was sleeping. It was probably like just the middle of the night.
Wow, what? I take it you didn't
I'm
go
not
back
sure if
to
it's
sleep,
linked or
right?
not, but
You didn't go back to sleep, did you?
No, it was weird because, like, once I get let back down into the bed, I was still not able to move, but I knew, like, I was conscious.
Right. That is
That's
so.
the weirdest
That is
part.
so fucked, dude. Because like, people talk about the sleep paralysis demons, and Hat Man. It's usually like shadow people that you see. Did you see any kind of anything?
No, that was the weirdest part about it. Is I've heard about sleep paralysis experiences and all those things before, but it was like I couldn't see anything, but I knew something was there because I couldn't explain it, man. And then that's what creeps me out to this day.
Right. Well, and how long ago was that?
It was about 2 years ago.
Is anything else in your house happened since then, or is it just kind of went quiet?
Since then, no, but throughout my life, I've had multiple experiences that I could probably talk about if you want to hear more.
Yeah. I mean, because sometimes I think that it's not just one thing, because people will be like, oh, well, I've seen an orb, and then, I had a sleep paralysis issue one time. But then you look at the bigger picture, and there's all these other different things, and it seems to almost be something with the people, right? They keep having these reoccurring things. So, if you got a couple other things you want to share with us, man, love to hear it.
I definitely do. Mostly, they're not necessarily like Sasquatch related. I'd have to send you photos for that.
Right.
But man, have you ever been to an antique store?
Oh yeah.
Obviously you have.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just have like little knickknacks up at the front for like kids to buy. They're not necessarily antiques. They're just plastic toys, Obviously the kids are bored. You can buy them for like, back in the day, $1 you could buy like a little toy plane or whatever.
Right.
We have, my parents bought me a plane because my dad he's really interested in diecast, like NASCAR diecasts.
Okay.
And so I always got, dragged in the car on these sessions of like, hey, we're going to go look for some diecasts. I never understood at the time, but now I do. But there's this one specific day, and this is the first start of the whole instances that happened. Me and my brother were eating Hot Pockets on the couch, and my mom was in the kitchen, and there's nobody upstairs. My dad is at work down in the city, and somehow that plane flew at my brother. And to this day, all, me, my mom, my brother, we can't explain it because there was no one upstairs. And it ended up happening one more time where I was downstairs on the couch and my brother was in his room, which is right next to mine upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought I threw the plane at him. And I was like, bro, I'm downstairs. Like, what are you talking about? My mom's obviously downstairs. And so we've had objects thrown at us here. I've been locked in the garage before. And I've also had an experience where my dog, I think, got attacked at night, and I had to come down and kind of yell at some demons that I couldn't see, man.
Now, are all this stuff going on at the same place?
Yeah, same house.
Oh shit! So, and you've never
same house, same neighborhood. I've never moved. My parents moved down here from New York in the 90s, and they built this house, and I've never moved yet, you know. And you know, thankfully, I have great parents. They let me stay here while I figure some shit out in life.
Right.
But yeah, man, there's been some weird shit that I've seen.
Well, have you ever mentioned any of this to the other residents of the house?
Oh yeah, they all know about it. Like,
they had
my
stuff
mom,
go
my
on?
brother. Not like me though. Like my mom and my brother know about the plane incident where we got the plane thrown at me and my brother, and he thought it was me on another occasion, but it wasn't. And I was like, no, dude, I'm downstairs, you're upstairs. And then there was one time where I was upstairs, my mom was downstairs. We're both talking to each other, and there was like a cabinet that just opened and slammed really hard. And she said she physically saw it happen.
Right.
And so I'm not, you know, I've had some interesting things.
Sounds like it, man. Have you ever thought about having some type of paranormal investigators come to the house and see what's going on, or maybe like a psychic medium or anything?
No, not really. I don't think my folks would be down for that.
Right.
Honestly, the biggest thing that helped was, and I don't want to get religious, but the biggest thing that helped was getting into religion and blocking it out of my life on my end. Like, I don't think it was necessarily them that was experiencing everything. Like, I experienced more than them, but once I decided to just block it out, a lot of it stopped, like through scripture and getting into the Bible.
It's weird how, you know, people poo-poo on the whole Bible and all that, but it's weird how mentioning the Lord's name, or like saying the Lord's Prayer, praying a lot, can have quite an effect on these things. It can straight shut it down. You're having your house blessed, anything like that, you know. And so if Jesus or any of the stuff in the Bible, anything like that, is meaningless, why does it seem to have an effect? And it even seems to have an effect in like UFO encounters, that people have said the same thing. They said, you know, in Jesus's name or something, leave me alone, you know. And the things have stopped, you know, when people called on Jesus. So I always thought that was odd, because I've never heard another religion. But then again, I mostly talk to Christians because that seems to be the main religion here in the States. But I wonder if that's, you know, like in India or anywhere, well, they'll call on their God. Will the activity cease? You know, don't know, but it's very, very interesting. So you've been there, you said 31 years?
Yeah, 31 years, same spot. I can be a little bit more specific. I live in southeast Texas. It's specifically the Woodlands, Texas, just north of Houston.
Right. Okay.
So on the 30th parallel, just underneath the 31st parallel line, which I seem to think has something to do with a lot of these things.
It does. You know, I think being on ley lines has a lot to do with it. Not that those certain positions are, you know, open all the time, but I think that's where these flaps and these weird things kind of live, is in those intersections, you know, on those ley lines, and things of that nature. Do you know if anything happened in that house before you moved into it?
No, because my parents had it built.
Oh, they had it built. Okay.
Yeah, we were the only owners. But that being said, I do know that there is a lot of history in this area, specifically the Bedi tribe. It's BED, I think, like AIS or something like that. It's kind of, and it's a smaller tribe, but they dealt with the Atakapaw Indians and the Akokisa tribe off the coast near Galveston, and also I think the Caddo tribe. And I know my town has dug up burial mounds before for construction and things like that. So there's a chance that there's just some weird energy going around this area.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I wonder, are you friends with anybody else in the neighborhood?
Not really. Not someone I could probably like go and talk to about this stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah. I would be interested to know, because especially with you seeing the orb at the intersection or at the four-way, I would almost bet, dude, it ain't just your house. It's kind of the whole neighborhood.
I mean, to be honest, I've never really thought about that before. Like, and that's so weird to think it's so isolated to me, which it can't. I don't think it can be.
Right.
Like, so it's almost like, I don't know. Like I said before, I have some pictures that I could probably send to you of some interesting footprints that I found in the local creek system.
Yeah,
that's here. It's considered the longest contiguous forest in the U.S., which means it's bordered by development on both sides.
Right.
But there's a lot of area to hide in, and I don't know, man. I've found some stuff that I can't explain, and I sent the photos to Mike from Sasquatch, Ontario, and he was like, just based on the angle and the distance that you took these photos at, it's really, really hard to really kind of get, the details that we really want, but I will definitely send them to you, bro.
If you would, man, I love looking at that stuff, anytime I can get some like Bigfoot material, I kind of nerd out on, and I'll sit there and look at it longer than I probably should. But I would appreciate that, man. And with your house, it sounds like with the Native American history going on in that area, that could be it. But y'all are bringing stuff into your home from antique stores. People, y'all got to understand that shit can have attachments too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of did the same thing because I collect haunted items, and that's not good for you. It's not good to bring to your house. I figured that out the hard way. But anytime you're buying something, secondhand stores, that bed frame you may have bought, somebody may have been shot in that bed. That dinner table, we actually have a card table here that still has pellet holes in it because over a card game, some guy shot this other guy with a shotgun and killed him over a card game. And my dad thought it was a good idea to bring the house, lacquer and restore and make it all look good, but leave the shotgun holes in there like little pellet holes. And I think some energies can be attached to those objects, and then I heard some guy the other day talk about how everything was alive, whether it's metal or wood, because it's all atoms that are like tightly packed together, and these atoms all have energy, even if it's like a plastic bottle that's going to have some kind of life force to it. I go down a lot of weird rabbit holes on YouTube, so I don't know how much stock to put in, but it was pretty interesting. However, it probably wouldn't hurt if the stuff continues to go on, brother. You can cleanse the house yourself, and you can do that shit when nobody's there. So you don't, because especially if it's just you having the problems, nobody else is going to want to have somebody come in and cleanse the house or have the house anything done like that, because it ain't them being affected by it. If it's you being affected by it, if you're getting raised out the damn bed and choked, and not or at least not getting kissed in the whole damn incident, you gotta you got to nip that in the bud. You can't continue to let that go on.
Yeah. And then I definitely think I got a control on it now. Like I said before, the whole scriptural thing, that's one route. And like, like you said, when no one's home, maybe burn some sage or something. But that toy plane we brought from the antique home, I mean, it was, this is back when I was like 8 years old, maybe like 6 years old is when that happened to me. But my mom threw that plane out so fast. She's like, we are not having that shit in my house. This is the second time it's just randomly flown across my house. And I'm trying to picture it in my head of this toy plane just leaving my, my bookshelf basically and just flying at my brother on his bed. And I'm like, that's insane to think that happened. And I wish we had security cameras back then, like set up so I could have seen this happen.
Right. Yeah, dude. I've witnessed stuff like that firsthand in the library at the Conjuring House. The books will just come out and fall to the floor, and like they come out like somebody snatched them out. They'll land like 3-4 foot away, and that was the craziest shit I ever seen. There was no reason for these books to come out of that shelf, but I witnessed it with my own eyes, and weird shit happens, brother. Weird shit happens. Well, dude, if you'll send me those pictures, I'd love to look at them. And I appreciate you calling in, bud.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you listening to me because I've been waiting for a long time to talk about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was really nervous, so thank you for being so patient. And I really love what you do. And I will definitely try to call in again, and I'll definitely send you those pictures, man. I gotta get them off my old laptop, and I'll send them right over.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, I look forward to it, man. Well, you have a good night, buddy.
You too, man. I appreciate you. Have a good night, brother.
Bye.
Peace.
Wow. I got another encounter kind of like that where a guy is working with his buddy and he gets hit with a dirt clump. And he gets mad and he tells his buddy, hey, you do that shit again and I'm going to punch you in the face. Don't do that to me no more. And then he goes back to work and then it happens again. And so he goes over and punches guy in the face and they're rolling around on the dirt. And then they look up and it was a Bigfoot that was throwing the dirt clumps. Bigfoot was standing there watching them and they got out. So it kind of reminded me of that. It also reminded me of Step Brothers with the whole, did you touch my drums? Scene. I'll put my balls on your drums, but okay, the lines are back open. I know we had some people in the chat saying they wanted to call. Zed, I believe. Anyways, first caller gets it. First caller gets on. But yeah, people, y'all gotta be careful about what you bring home from antique stores. You never know the story to that. And you could be bringing something in your house that you really don't need to, especially if there's like any kind of arguments and shit that happen on a regular basis in your house. It seems that these things kind of feed off of that stuff, Rhonda's cooking. So she said, Zuli, go ahead and call in. We're going to old 10 o'clock tonight, Rhonda. 10 o'clock tonight. So for another hour and 10 minutes, we will be taking calls. Orban Forster saying he doesn't care for antiques. His wife does, though. I love antiques, bro. Like, that's my problem. I love that shit. And it's hard to practice what you preach sometimes. And not buy them things. But usually they're super high prices. Remind me that shit could be haunted. So me being the cheapskate that I am. All right. Somebody from Connecticut. Let's see who we got. You're on the Bigfoot Underground.
Hello, I've been trying to reach you about your car extended warranty.
Awesome. Tell me you got a good deal on it.
It's Julie from the chat. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
So,
I thought to call and, let you know about my UFO stories.
Yeah. You have have some UFO stories. You emailed me about them. So, you want to get into them?
Yes. Do you want me to tell you all three of them, or just the most terrifying one?
Well, hey, how about this? We'll go through all three of them. We still got an hour and 10 minutes. And for all I care, you could go the whole time if you wanted to. But you can start at the first one and work your way through, and we can ask questions and all that.
Okay. So this happened to me in Puerto Rico because I was born and raised there. And they happened to me when I was a child.
In Puerto Rico?
The first one happened to me, I remember. Yes.
Okay.
So I remember I was in my cousin's house playing with my little cousin, because where I live over there in Puerto Rico, we live in a town called Utuado, so it's in the middle of the island. So it would be like what you guys call the mountains over there. Over here, but over there it's different. So I live on a dead end street, and it used to be my cousin's house, may the rest in peace. And then my uncle, and then the last house is my parents' house. So I was walking over there and I was playing, but I didn't notice that it got dark. And I was little, and my mom was very strict with me. So I was like, okay, let me just start walking back home. So in between each house, it was like a light pole, but in between them, it was very dark. And it was in the woods. So I'm trying to walk, kind of fast, to try to get to my house. And when I'm about to be on the last hill to go to my house, I am illuminated by this light. It looks like if somebody would have turned on a light switch, like a LED light switch.
Right.
And I got scared because I thought that it was a car. And I'm like, am I going to get run over here? So when I look back, it was gone, it was nothing. So, of course, I got terrified and started running in flip-flops down the hill. Thank God I didn't break my face.
Right.
But it was so scary. And, of course, I was screaming to my mom. And she didn't even, want to hear about it, because she was more mad about me being out at night than anything else. But it was so strange to me. And then my other encounter happened. I was in my house, and I always love to go outside and in the balcony, watch the stars and things like that.
Now, how long is this after
so
how long, you had your first encounter? When was your second one?
Years.
Years?
After that, a couple years after that.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm sitting in the balcony, and in the distance, I can see this, what I thought it was a star. And it started to flash, like a pulsing kind of motion, and it was yellow. And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking, this is an airplane or a helicopter or something? Because, usually when you see them at night, it's because something bad happened. So in my mind, I'm like, maybe this is a helicopter. And I keep looking at it, and a couple minutes went by, and then it switched from this pulsating to this. In the email, I told you it was like when you see a pool, and then the light hits at a certain way that you can see kind of like the waves underneath.
Mm-hmm.
So it started to do that motion, but green. And I'm like, this is interesting. So as I am looking, a couple of minutes went by, and then it starts to move slowly to the left. And I'm just perplexed, because I'm like, is this still, in my mind, I'm trying to like rationalize and be like, okay, this is still like some sort of airplane or something. And as I'm doing that, this thing zooms to the left, like at the speed of light.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything so fast in my life. But again, I try to tell my mom, but she's, they're like skeptics and things like that, so she didn't believe me.
Right.
And I was the only one outside, so I was like, okay, this is great. They probably they're gonna think that I'm crazy or something.
Right.
And then the last one, which is like the worst, and this is
Oh, hold on. Before we get into
like
that,
what?
let me ask you a question
Yeah.
before I forget. You were running late going home on your first encounter when you seen that light?
Yes.
Did you have any missing time? Were you all of a sudden maybe an hour later than you should have been?
No. It was because I got involved with the claim with my little cousin that it got dark outside, and I remember my mom telling me, don't stay out until late and things like that because it was cold the other day.
Right. Okay. I was just wondering if maybe you had got taken. But let's go to that last encounter. You said your most terrifying one.
I am shaking because I can still remember like if it was today. And the craziest thing is that my mom was with me and she has no recollection about this.
Really?
I live in Connecticut and she came to visit me last year. Okay. And we started like the topic, but she said, oh my God, thank God I don't remember any of that. And I was like, well, how can you not remember? Because we were the only two in the house.
Right.
So my dad used to work as a security guard at the college. So it was only my mom and me, but my mom was pregnant with my little brother.
Okay.
And I remember it was about like 8 or 9, and this show came on TV. Like, if you have any Puerto Rican viewers, they're gonna know because it's like this kids show, and they sing the sleeping song. So all the parents know that it was time for the kids to go to sleep.
Right.
So my mom tells me if I can help her, like close the blinds. Back then, we used to have a house made out of wood, and the roof was aluminum.
Okay.
So I started closing the blinds, and while I'm about to close, like the one close to the entrance of my parents' land, we started hearing this noise, and it was like a humming noise. It was like a something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom was like, "Did you hear that? What is that?" And she was like, "Is that a helicopter or something?" And I'm like, "At this time?" So as we're both like shocked listening to this. Like, this noise was so intense that I can feel it on my feet, the vibration. So I'm still like at the window trying to like, close it. But if I pull it, I can still peek to see outside. And then all of a sudden, my mom, because this starts to get louder, and my mom starts to walk like backwards. And she puts her back against the wall, the dining room wall. And she tells me, no, like, don't go in the window. But once she said that, she just froze. I don't know how to explain it to you. Like, she had her eyes wide open and her mouth was like, it was like she paralyzed.
Okay.
But me being me, because I've always been like this serious type, I was like, in my mind, I was like, I have to see what is this. So as I am hearing it, I started to peek through the window, And I start to see, oh my gosh, I got this too. I start to see this huge place. I'm talking about, it was bigger than our house. And it was this huge disc shape. And it was so black, like I try to tell you in the email. I don't know if you see like this car restoration shows. There's a guy that created this darkest black matte.
Yeah, where it kind of like almost absorbs light. You can't see it.
It was exactly like that.
Yeah.
It was exactly like that. And I remember that it was only a couple of feet from our roof, because in the beginning of the entrance of our land, it used to be a guava tree, and I can hear, oh my God, I got the chill. I can hear when this thing is like touching the leaf.
Oh, wow.
And as I am seeing it, this huge thing, like it was so big that it could have lifted our house. I can start to see that it had light. And then it had like a yellow light and then a space in between, two green, space in between, all over, around the edge.
Uh-huh.
Because what was interesting to me, it was that it was so like flat. It was like this huge flat disc. So it was very slowly, and it was like it passed our house, it passed our river. Because where my parents live, there's like a river that divides our part of the land and then the neighbors. So I can see this thing, it keeps going very slow. And when it gets to the other side of the mountain, it stops. And then it just stays there like hovering.
Right.
And all of the time, as I am looking at this thing did the same thing like what I saw my second time. It zoomed so fast, like it disappeared.
Mm.
It was the craziest thing that I've ever like watched.
Now, did any of your neighbors see this, or like did you ever talk to anybody about it?
No. But you know, after talking about it with my mom throughout the years, because we never know the neighbors because they live in the other side of the mountain, so I couldn't tell you who they were.
Right.
But some I know they had cows, because sometimes I guess they got loose and then they end up in my house. So me, you know, tying one thing with another, I'm thinking maybe they were after the cows. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know, you hear about the cattle mutilations and all that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if they found a few of those. Well, that is crazy. So what did your mom say after it happened? So it flies off, right? What happens next?
Mm-hmm. Like right after it zoomed out, that I'm able to like step out and go to her, she snapped out of it. And she started screaming like, no, let's go to sleep, turn off the light, let's go to sleep. And that's what we did, but she didn't see anything because she was like stuck at the wall.
Now, do you think it was something from that ship that made her freeze, or she was just that terrified that she kind of froze up?
I'm not sure, because, you know, sometimes I think if she would have been here, she would have remembered something.
Right.
I'm guessing because, you know, I had another experience with like a wraith/demon type of thing.
At the same place?
That I you know, happened to me at my house, yeah.
This is the place in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Oh, well, tell me that. Damn, you've seen a rake too?
You know, throughout the years, I thought it was like a demon, but then hearing other people's stories and then I hear about the wake and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what I saw. Oh my gosh, that experience was crazy.
So this is a thing that was getting cited. This was a thing that was getting cited by people that lived in your area?
I don't know, because, this was probably around like in the late 90s, maybe. So back then, like, nobody talk about it unless it was like a family member that maybe had like a weird experience.
Right.
But there's a lot of my family members that have had a weird things happen.
And they just don't talk
in that
about it.
area where we live. No.
Wow. So what happened? How did you see this thing? What went down?
Oh my God. So let me give you a little bit of a backstory.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My voice is a little raspy. So I remember it happened about a year after Hurricane George hit Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was a very difficult time because we lost everything. It was very bad. I didn't see my dad like in 3 days. It was terrible. So my dad had already started building the new house, and he was like a year in, and it was almost finished. But this time he decided to make it a 2-story house. But at the bottom, it was only my older brother in my room. But it was in cement. So he said, just in case another hurricane, we can take shelter.
Right.
But the stairs were made out of wood and the same aluminum roof. So I remember this day telling my father to please leave the light on in the stairs because he hasn't put doors in our rooms. So my room was facing directly to the stairs. And he said no, because, the light bill is going to be high. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to argue because imagine. So I went to sleep. And all of a sudden, I hear this voice that tells me, wake up, but don't get off the bed because I am here with you and nothing's going to happen. And I remember thinking, like, am I going crazy? Like, what's going on? My bed, one of the side of the bed is like against the wall.
Okay.
And the other one, I can see directly to those stairs. So I'm sitting and I am looking. So when I'm turning my head through the stairs, I get this feeling, like this overwhelming feeling like something is bad. So when I look at the stairs, this thing appears. And this thing was probably like 7 feet tall. It was very skinny, but how can I explain it? Like the skin wasn't all stuck into the bone, like it had a little bit of muscle to it.
Okay.
And the skin was gray. It was gray like if it was rotten. I don't know how to explain it. Like I can see like the texture of it. And this thing had these long arms with these long fingers and this long, almost blackish nails that I can hear the thing gripping the edge of the stairs. Oh my God. I'm sorry. It's just that I've like really that is like terrible.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
So I'm watching this thing terrified, and I can see that it has like these huge black eyes, but very shiny.
Mm-hmm.
And the nose is supposed to be like it wasn't no nose. It was just like 2 slits. And then it had no hair. And also, it was very interesting because it had like no genital.
Right.
It had nothing, and I was like, I'm looking at this thing, and this thing is like gripping the wall, and it's doing this kind of motion with the head. Do you know the barn owls? You know how they look and move their head like side to side?
Yep.
That was exactly how this thing was looking at me. And I try to scream, and I can't. Like, I open my mouth, and I can't. I'm terrified. I'm paralyzed. I can't move. I can't scream. And as I am looking at this thing, like this happened in like maybe 1 or 2 minutes, but to me, it felt like an eternity.
Right.
So as I'm looking at this thing, I can see it opening its mouth, and it has a bunch of teeth. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like the mouth, it didn't have like the corners like we have. It was just this big, huge mouth. And I can see its teeth. Its teeth were huge, and it was like rows on rows on rows. And there's a type of rose that have these huge thorns, kind of curved. That's what they look like. And I can see this thing looking at me, and I can see it drooling. But for some reason, I feel like it cannot approach me. Like if this invisible wall is between me and that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, that thing was like 10 feet away from me.
Wow.
So in my fear, because I'm a child, you know, I don't know what to do. I can't scream. In my fear, I put my cover on top of my head.
Yeah.
And I know that's stupid, but you don't know what else to do. So I put the covers on my head, and I can't talk. So in my mind, I'm rebuking in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. And I'm doing this so fast in my head, that all of a sudden that feeling that I had in the beginning is gone. So when I take off the covers, it's gone. There's nothing there.
Wow. Bruh.
That was the scariest thing that I've ever lived in my life. And I'm telling you, but I'm shaking right now because it was terrible.
That's enough for a lifetime right there. You don't need no more scares. That's now. Do you think this thing? Well, I guess you said it was a rake. I'm not real too sold on what a rake is. Is a rake a demon, or is it like some type of
That's
alien?
what I don't know, because I thought that a rake was like kind of like a skinwalker thing, you know, that they're like very pale and have these long arms and so I'm thinking that's what it was, but I'm not 100%.
Wow. One of the listeners, Jermac10, wants to know where in Puerto Rico you were at.
In Utuado.
In Aguaro?
Utuado is like right in the center of the island.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not real.
Yeah.
Not
So,
real
you know, Puerto
familiar.
Rico is different.
I've got a buddy.
It's very...
I got a buddy who, I don't know where he was in Puerto Rico. How big is Puerto Rico, like, compared to the United States? I know it's small, but, like, is it about the size of Rhode Island, or is it about the size of Georgia? Like, how big do you think? Would you guess?
I don't know. I know it's 100 by 35.
Oh, okay, so it's small. My buddy in Puerto Rico said he woke up one night and had this, he said he couldn't move, and there was this little green goblin looking thing on his stomach, and it was scratching him with its nails, and he couldn't move. And he said he was trying to scream but couldn't scream, and I can't remember what happened. I think his brother ended up coming into the room, and the damn thing was on his chest, and then it leapt through the window, busted the window out, or either he had the window open. I can't remember how he said. It's been years since he told me this story, but it was a wild ass story. And he had these scratches down his chest, and he said it was a chupacabra. He said what people in the United States call a chupacabra is not what people in Puerto Rico consider a chupacabra. You know, he said they're kind of this little like green alien looking thing.
I think what he saw was kind of like a gnome.
A gnome?
Because my uncle saw a chupacabra right there in the same area where I had all this stuff happening.
Wow. All in the same spot. So where are y'all on like, are y'all on some sacred land or something like that?
You know, it's funny that you say that because right after that Hurricane George happened, we used to go to the river to wash the clothes. Like, you know, that's what people do back then. And I remember I was playing in the river. And, you know, this happened to me when I was a child. So I picked up this rock, and it was perfectly triangular, like shaped, almost like if it was some sort of, I don't know, Taino arrow or something like that.
Right.
So who knows? Maybe there's something in there, but there's stories of another uncle of mine being followed by a UFO. I've heard stories of my grandma saying back then when she lived in an older house that in the middle of the night she used to hear like this creature, dog, kind of like dragging a metal chain, and it would go around the house. Stories of a lady laughing at 12 o'clock at midnight on top of a coconut tree that used to be there. So there's a lot of weird things that have happened there.
It sounds like it. I don't see why you would have wanted to leave. After all that, you know, I mean, it's kind of what we're in the game for. Yeah, I can totally get it. I can totally get that. I mean, as beautiful as Puerto Rico is. What's that?
To be honest, where my dad lives, it's beautiful. You know, he has a little bit of land. The river is right there. So it's very beautiful. And all these things happened to me when I was a child. Like, I don't recall nothing happening to me as an adult.
Right. And that's usually how it goes. Like people, and here's the thing. So like when we're children, our brain isn't really separated until about, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8, but our brain eventually goes into 2 hemispheres, right? One's your logical side and one's, I don't know exactly what it is, but when you're a child, and this is believed to be the reason that children have more encounters with the other side, right? They see a lot more ghosts and stuff like that, is because your brain's all one hemisphere. Now, like I was talking earlier, when we did that Gateway project at the Conjuring House, that whole thing was hemi-syncing your mind. So it's putting your mind back in one hemisphere. And the CIA had said that when you can do that, you will astral project, you know? And so I think, yeah, so I think when you're younger, I think the veil is thinner for you. And you can experience more things. So I know this is a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Do you want to experience anything like this again, or are you good?
Nothing that has to do with demons or anything like that. No.
Right.
UFOs, I don't mind. But I would love to see a Bigfoot from a safe distance.
Oh, of course.
You never know. But I would love to see a Bigfoot.
Yeah, I was standing in the woods last night. The guy I had taken out had already went to bed, so I walked Probably walked a few hundred miles down the, or a few hundred miles, a few hundred feet down the trail, walked to the wood shack and stuff. And I was standing there in the dark, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I don't want to see a Bigfoot right now. I need to go get my ass back in the tent and go to sleep. But yeah, I want to see one from a car. I don't want to be in the woods with it. Like, I'll look for evidence and maybe try to film one, but I don't really want to come face to face with one of these things. I was so scared. There's no way I wouldn't be scared again. You know, like
exactly. And I always feel like you never know how they could be, because if they have that side, that human type of side, you never know what more they're gonna be. So it's scary.
Yeah. Well, Miss Zuli, you this call is going to make the best of. I'm going to be releasing a best of my my call-in show one of these days. I'm compiling it now, so this call is definitely.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, this call is definitely going on there. Like, I can't imagine waking up out of bed and looking down the stairs and there is what you've seen. Let me ask you, did you tell anybody? Did you like?
Of course.
And they didn't believe you?
Because it was so weird. Like, I had so many weird experiences when I was a child. I remember being in my room and all of a sudden hearing a baby crying outside my window, and my window was facing directly to my parents' land. But then I got discouraged because I remember I would tell my parents and they would not believe me. You know, my dad would try to brush it off like, oh no, maybe it was a dream, or it's not real, or you hear something else, you know? I don't know if he did it trying to like for me not to get scared, but then I got discouraged, so I was like, I'm not gonna say anything else until already an adult and I can, you know, talk to my mom and things like that. But I had some crazy things. Like, I remember, I'm not gonna go into it because I know, you know, I want to give somebody else a chance, but I remember one time being taken to heaven, and what I saw over there was crazy.
Okay, hold on. Listen. You're going to go into this story. Like, everybody else can wait. They can wait. You got taken to heaven. I want to know about that. Definitely, like, that interests me more than everything else we talked about. So let's talk about the time that Zuli went to heaven. I really want to hear this story.
So, you know, like I told you, I've always had these weird experiences, but also known that God exists. I don't know how to explain it, but I just know it. So one time I went to sleep in the same house that all this happened. And I remember feeling like I have to get up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my body's waking up, and I'm standing next to my bed, and I'm looking on the side, and I can see my body laying down in the bed.
Right.
And as I'm looking at my body, I'm looking at my hands, and my hands are see-through but shiny. And I had on this white gown. Oh my God, I'm playing this and I'm shaking.
It's okay.
So as I'm looking at my
like, seriously, I don't know if you're reading the chat right now, but everybody is loving everything you're saying. So do not feel nervous. Do not feel nervous.
So
like, everybody they are in tune to this conversation right now. So
I will check in a little bit because, since, you know, I'm using my phone, I want to concentrate on what I'm saying. So as I'm looking at my phone, I start to move forward. Like if I was in some sort of, you know, those airport belts that you stand on it and they take you, you don't have to walk. So I'm moving. I pass through the wall, and right in the middle of my parents' land is this huge gold stair. Okay? It's these stairs that are going up. They're made of gold. And I remember slowly getting into there, and I start stepping into these humongous stairs. I can see the intricate detail. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It looks like it's some sort of artist would carve these stairs. So I'm going up, right? As I'm going up to heaven, I can feel the clouds on my body. I'm going up, 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 up until I get at the end. When I get at the end, I can see this beautiful, huge valley with this green grass. Like I can feel the grass on my feet.
Right.
Right in the middle of this valley is this huge tree, beautiful, very green. It looked like one of those giant trees. I don't know the name, like sequoia or something like that. I'm not sure.
Right.
And in this tree, there was thousands and thousands of animals and birds going in and out, in and out. It was like it was their home.
Okay.
And at the bottom of this tree, it was this family playing with lions and tigers and all these wild beasts. And I'm like perplexed on what I'm watching because they were treating them like if they were a cat and a dog. So I'm looking at everything, and at the end, I can see like the ocean. But the ocean was not blue, it was clear. It was like glass. Like I can literally walk on top of it, and it was full of every type of fish that you can imagine.
Right.
It was beautiful. So as I'm like kind of scanning the place, to my right, I see these flowers. But these flowers were huge. I'm talking about 8, 9 feet tall flowers with this color that I've never seen on earth. And they have two set of petals. And I remember the bigger ones were going right, like spinning right. Then the ones in the middle were spinning left. And as they spinning, they're swaying left and right, swaying. And I can hear these flowers emitting this sound. And it sounded like, I don't know if you have watched American Got Talent, where this young kid had this voice. They call him like the voice of an angel because he can hit this high note. It sounded exactly like that. And I am, in my mind, I'm like, what is this place? But inside, I don't want to leave. So as I am looking back to where I came, on my left side, this path appeared, and it was made out of pure gold. And I can see everything in this path. I can see the dirt, it was gold. The stones, they were gold. And when I stand on this path to start walking on it, I can barely fit my 2 feet side to side. It was that small. So I'm starting walking on this path. It was kind of like zigzagging. And almost when I was about to reach to the end, I see this mountain. But Stacy, I'm talking about like, imagine the Everest, right? Like you're seeing the Everest. And on top of this mountain is this being sitting with this white robe. And this being was ginormous. I cannot explain to you. Literally next to this being, I was like an ant next to an elephant. That's the only comparison that I have, because this being was huge.
Right.
And he was sitting kind of like a side profile, and I'm looking at it like in amaze. And I remember on the waist he had this belt made out of rope, but the rope was made out of gold. And I remember his gown was so white that it was hurting my eyes. And in his lap, he had this ginormous book, this white book. And I can see this book, I can see the edges of the book were made of gold, because there was like a subtle breeze in there that the pages kind of like moved. And he had this huge white feather, and I can see him doing the motion, like writing. And as he's writing, I'm seeing gold. I don't understand what it said, because it was like in another language. I don't know what it said. And he was writing. And I am looking at this being, and I'm looking up, and my neck is starting to hurt because I'm looking up, but I cannot see the end of it. So as I am looking, I can sense that he is going to turn to look at me. And right when that happened, it was so bright. It was worse than looking at the sun. It's so bright that I couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, like in a matter of a second, I feel like I fell back in my body, in my bed again.
Wow. So.
And I know it sounds crazy, but
no, that sounds amazing. How were you scared when this was going on, or did you feel like?
No.
You felt
no, not at all. I literally felt that I didn't want to come back.
Right.
Because as soon as I got there, it was this overwhelming love and happiness that is like you belong there. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like I just belong there. Like this is my home.
Yeah. So, and that's
right. Yeah.
If y'all watch my Conjuring House Experiments film, it's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I say the same exact thing. After we did that project, it was a similar thing. Like I left my body, I seen my body, and then like I seen my kids and everything, and I was seeing all this stuff.
Oh, Lord.
And like if I would have been able to stay, I would have stayed. I wouldn't have came back because I felt this love that was just,
yes,
and then there was another side to mine where it was like a bad part of the trip as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's because we were doing it in a haunted house, a very haunted location.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that feeling of love that comes over you, it's just hard to wipe the smile off of your face. You just can't quit smiling. It's like all your goosebumps are going up, and you just want to stay there because when you come back here, now you worry about stuff. And I think what you witnessed is what we will see when we die. And that may be,
I feel like that's it.
That may be personal to everybody, but other people that I've spoke to that have had near-death experiences or experiences like this, they all describe it slightly different, but they don't describe the feeling different. The feeling is, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's always the same. Well, girl, listen, somebody said you need your own episode with a Q&A.
Oh, my God.
Is that something you'd be down for so people could ask questions?
Sure.
Okay, well, I will email you and we will set a date. Do you have video? Can you video chat?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Well, we will set something up and you can either tell it again, we can get more into it, people can ask questions. I know it was kind of quick tonight, even though we've been talking for 43 minutes.
I know, it's just that I didn't want to, I want to give everybody else like a chance because I was reading like some of the people had good stories in the chat.
Yeah,
but I was like, what? I think I'm going to talk to let them know.
Yeah, well, hey, everybody's saying, let's go. Yes, sure, hope so. You know what I mean? Everybody has loved your story. So we'll get on that. I'll contact you tomorrow and we'll talk about a day. We could do a Wednesday episode where we just sit here and you can get into the real details and then we can answer some of these questions because everybody's loving it. I know they got some questions. I got more questions, but I'll be here all night. So, but Seriously,
Okay.
thank you so much. This is easily top 5 Hall of Fame call right here. I love it.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me, share my experiences.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, thank you so much. I know last time you said you were nervous to call in and stuff, but I'm really glad you did. And, if you were nervous, hopefully all that's gone now, because we just love the tales here. You know how it goes. Everybody loves these call-ins, and you've been sitting on one of the best ones this whole time. So finally glad you shared with us.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go back to the chat to, give it someone else a chance to call, but thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, thank you, and have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. Wow. That was a killer call. That was really good. So, hey, I think the moral of the story there is to stay the F out of Puerto Rico, right? Like with my buddy's story that he told me with that thing clawing him on the belly and his chest. And then, you know what she just said? I wouldn't mind having the whole tree of life kind of encounter. That would be cool. That would really be cool. Okay, so I'm turning back on the lines. We got approximately 23 minutes and 40 seconds left on this transmission. Let's hear them calls. I know somebody said they had a Ouija story. And we'll get Zuli back. We'll do a Wednesday, so that way everybody could call in and check it out. You know what? I said we were going to give out 2. Let's give out 2. The 5th caller right now will get. This one says potential spam. You're on the Bigfoot Underground.
Hello, Stacy. This is Rhonda Lee from the chat.
Hey, Rhonda, how you doing?
Well, I almost didn't call because I can't follow up on that at all.
Oh, yeah. That's a hard one to top, but still, we will be the judge of that.
Yeah, it is. Well, she was great.
She was. So what did you got going on?
Well, this wasn't the original purpose for my call, but you all had mentioned about leaving the body and that sort of thing.
Yes, ma'am.
And I used to do something when I was a very, very small child, like maybe 3, 4, 5 years old. I remember just like little patches of it. I was so young. Mm-hmm. And I've never told this to anybody before. And here I am telling all these people I don't even know all over the internet. But like if any time I had gotten in trouble or got my feelings hurt or something like that, I would sit in a quiet spot and I would say to myself over and over, I'm Rhonda and there's only one of me. I'm the only one that there is. And I'm the only one of me that's ever been or ever will be. And it was like just a second later, I would be like among the stars or something. I don't have like a name or a word for it to describe it.
Almost like an astral projection.
Maybe I guess that would probably be maybe the closest thing,
right?
I could put to it. But it was just something about telling myself and knowing that it's something to do with my uniqueness as me as a person,
Mm-hmm. Owning your soul. You know what I mean? You're realizing
something like that.
What you are in the moment. Yeah.
Right. And I did get a chuckle out of the caller talking about the Don't Wake Daddy game because I grew up in the 70s. And so I immediately thought about the Operation game.
Right.
I hated that game. It would scare the shit out of me every time I touched that buzzer.
My damn hand shook too much to be any good at that game. I don't know how, I couldn't do it.
Mine too. I finally was able to see the thermal footage that you and your dad caught.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just scrolling through my usual algorithm one night looking for something to watch, and it popped up on the shorts recommendations.
Right.
And I thought, well, shit, I got to click on this and finally see it. And it terrified me. It really did.
It terrified my dad too. Like, I've got the footage, and it's been on some TV shows. Some of the TV shows didn't want the footage, they didn't want it to go. But so when my dad filmed the creature, I was filming my dad. Right. You know what I mean? So like, as soon as we left the camp, I've got this little Sony night shot rolling, and I'm holding his shoulder, just because I couldn't see a damn thing. And he's walking in front of us, kind of guiding us, and then you see his whole reaction on camera. Right. And
wow.
Yeah, and my dad wasn't an actor, you know what I mean? He's an Army Ranger. You can't act that good, right? Maybe Brad Pitt could pull something like that off, but it was you really get to see him go from skeptic to believer, in an instant, and that he flips out. But yeah, that was lightning in a bottle. We kind of had that experience.
It was. It was just. It was so clear as day as to what you were looking at.
Right. Yeah, and see, I didn't know what he filmed. I didn't see it. He was the one with the camera. I just seen him freaking out. Get your gun. We gotta go. And he's running. Right, to the best of his abilities on that trail at night. It was crazy, and then, I seen one last weekend through the thermal, and I didn't think I was looking at one. I thought it was somebody, and I had texted the other team, and I was like, yo, I just seen one of y'all. And then he sent a picture. He's like, we're all sitting in the bed of my truck, bud. And I was like, oh shit, but didn't get that one recorded. I wasn't even planning on using the camera and didn't have an SD card in it. It was crazy. But there were tracks there. There were tracks coming up out of the ditch and crossing the road, right where I seen it. So that was pretty neat. But yeah, glad you got to see that finally.
So you and whatever made the tracks, you all probably just barely missed each other.
Oh, 100%. I was probably 150 yards away. I was a good little distance away from it. And that's why I just thought it was one of the other team had walked down the road. But that wasn't the case, which sucks thinking back on it, because I wish I would have recorded that. But it to have the experience again was really cool.
Well, my original question I was wanting to ask is a Bigfoot question.
All right.
And I don't know what made me think of this. I guess I was, watching one of the many channels out there that cover this kind of stuff. And I think somebody had mentioned about knowing somebody that had hit one crossing the road at some point or something years ago, something like that. And the thought crossed my mind because I live way out here in the country. There's nothing but woods around me for miles. And I thought, what if I'm out here driving on the road, going somewhere one night, and I hit something like that? What the hell am I supposed to do? Because I'm not about to call the sheriff.
Well, that's a good question. Most people would call the sheriff, and every now and then it is my belief, statistically speaking, they have to get hit in traffic. Like you think about everything that everything that walks around the road: deer, possums, armadillos, raccoons.
Well, there's constantly deer on the side of the road here where I'm at. I mean, we're just overrun with them.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of deer, so you see a lot of deer strikes. But even people that walk next to the road, one of my cousins got killed because he was walking down the road and somebody hit him. This is like in 87. Somebody hit him with one of those mirrors on a van, and it just caved in the back of his head. But if you stay around the road long enough, your chances are you're going to get hit. So when you think about with Sasquatch crossings, most of the sightings are seen crossing the road. And with all those sightings, somebody had to have hit one. I've talked to 2 people that have hit them. They didn't kill them. The thing kept running. But somebody has to kill one. I would say at least every 5 to 10 years. A semi-truck or somebody has to smack it. And so who do you call? So you call the sheriff. The sheriff comes out.
In my mind, I'm thinking, that maybe the sheriff will come out. Maybe they're just, going to think I'm off my rocker or something. But if they do come out, is this something that they're going to just try to sweep under the rug or
100%
make me look like an idiot?
Yeah, well, they'll probably just tell you, unless it's laying there in your grill of your car, but the first thing I would do if I was you, because you got to call somebody, especially if your car's messed up and you can't drive, you've got to call somebody.
Well, I guess to put my question in perspective, I'm looking at it from the point of it's dead and it's in the road dead.
Yeah, right. So my thing, if that ever happened to me, what I would do before I called anybody is I would take pictures of this damn thing, and I would take good pictures and good video of this thing, and I would send it to my friends. Download this to your computer, do whatever, send it out to places, and then and then you send it out, and then you make your call to the authorities. But also, if you've got a knife in the car or something, take a finger. Take a finger off of it. Take the hair off of it. Try to wet a towel or a shirt in its blood. So that way you can, you have some evidence, because the cops, what they're going to do is they're going to escalate it. They're going to call the FBI or whoever. And next thing you know, it's swept under the rug. The carcass is taken off. You're told you hit a bear, and you're told not to say nothing again. And that's up to you. So that would be my advice. Take it for what it's worth.
That's good advice. All right. Well, I will leave somebody else a few more minutes that maybe wants to call. I appreciate you talking to me.
All right, Miss Rhonda. You have a good night.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, people, if y'all hit something, a Bigfoot, take pictures of it before you call the police. Take some hair. Maybe call somebody to come to you. If you got somebody, like, let's say you're a mile down the road, and you can be like, you call your dad or your son or whoever, be like, yo, get down here. I need your help real quick. And cut a couple pieces off of that thing, pass it off, and be like, drive this to grandma's house or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Get some people you can trust, because that experience is going to be swept away. Because you got to call your insurance company. They're going to send out an adjuster, and they're going to see the damage to your car. And then when you tell them you hit a Bigfoot, you're going to need a police report for that. Right? Because they're not going to cover that you hit a Bigfoot. And then you never know. They may say it was a guy in a suit. Oh, it was some guy in a suit. Some guy, we don't know who it was, but they probably wouldn't say anything. But but you got to do these things before you call the police. The problem is the person that hits the thing is most likely not going to be into Bigfoot. They're not going to be into that weird stuff. They're going to see that they hit a Bigfoot and they're going to be like, oh shit. And they've never heard nobody tell them, yo, don't call the cops. Call somebody else. And hey, I mean, like, seriously, if your car's still running, try to load that damn thing up in the back seat, drive it to the house, go to Walmart, get you a big freezer because you got proof, you know. But definitely take a finger. You've already killed it. Take a finger. Do something so you can, you know, hopefully prove it. But we got about 10 minutes left. If anybody wants to make a quick call into the show, go ahead. Actually, you know what? I said we were going to give away another DVD, and then Rhonda called. So let's do the fifth caller right now. We'll receive a copy of my new DVD. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fifth caller, 850-695-0522. Let me make sure I got the lines open. I got the lines open right now. Y'all call in. Christina with a good point. What if there's another one close by? You know, I don't know, bro. Some of these things y'all got to figure out for yourself. I don't know what to tell you about that. Because if there's another one close by, there's going to be a damn scene caused, and it may keep you in your car or running the opposite direction if your car doesn't work. But it's whether there's going to be more. You know, I've only seen one water moccasin. You didn't see the other 5. All right. You calling about the DVD?
Yes, sir.
You are caller number 1, sir. Try again.
Oh, come on, man.
All right. We got one caller down. Who's going to call and win that DVD? Is this man going to call 4 more times to win the DVD himself? Come on, people. I know we're on a bit of delay. Some of y'all. Bunch of sickos, aren't we? Plotting about how to get away with evidence. Hey, we got to do what we got to do around here. You know? That's how it goes. That's how it goes. All right, we're on caller number 1, 850-695-0522. Who's going to be the next caller? Who's going to be the 5th caller? That's the one that's going to win. Free of charge. Wow, what a good show tonight. Zuli's call was awesome. And then, you know, the follow-up with how to get away with a Bigfoot, with the manslaughter on a Bigfoot. You know, that would be the bad part. If they told you it was some human and then you caught a charge. So that would also be the reason to get a thumbnail, something. Get something off of it so you can prove that you did not hurt a human. Because you never know how these things are going to shake down with the police. I'm not one of those anti-police guys. All right, here we go. You're on the Bigfoot Underground calling about the DVD?
Yep.
You're caller number 2, buddy. Try again. Sorry.
Excellent.
Okay. All right. You're on the Bigfoot Underground. You calling about the DVD?
I am.
You're caller number 3. Call back.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Bye.
Tampa, Florida. You're on the Bigfoot Underground.
I'm calling about the DVD. I'm number 3, I think.
You're caller number 4. Call back.
Oh, darn it.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All right, here we go. Who am I speaking with?
Dan.
All right, buddy. I got
I'm the second caller.
No, you're not. You are the 5th caller, sir.
No, there's no way you lying to me.
No, I'm not lying to you, bro. You must be on a delay, but yes, you are the 5th caller, and you win the DVD. Let me get your name real quick.
Hey, my full name?
Just your name. Just your name. Your first name.
Dan.
Dan. All right, Dan.
Dan.
So you're going to need to email me.
Ben. B-E-N.
Ben. Okay, Ben. Sorry. You're going to need.
I got another question for you, brother.
Go ahead, bro.
So I subscribe tonight. How can I watch the other episodes of your show you have?
They're all on the channel, man. So if you click under the lives, you'll see there's about almost close to 40 of those now. Half of those are call-in shows. I'd say more than half of those are call-in shows. Then you've got, a few interviews on there. But then if you go over to the videos, you're going to see the whole catalog of all the Bigfoot Underground episodes there. And there's also my other stuff I did on the channel. I've got some documentaries, some, expedition videos that I've been doing, some stuff since like 2011. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff on there, 200 and something videos for you to check out. But yeah, man, and I got more members content coming. So this week I'm going to be dropping like a interview I did with a FWC officer. He didn't know he was on camera till about halfway through it, and then his kind of demeanor changed.
Florida Wildlife and Fisheries.
Yep.
Yeah, I got you.
I walked up to it.
Okay, brother. I mean, am I really number 5?
You are really number 5. So what I need you to do is email me at bigfootstacy13@gmail.com.
All right.
Okay, so
and dude, that Zuli call was exquisite.
Crazy,
that
man.
Was excellent, bro.
Yes,
dude. And Rhonda's call was good too.
Yeah, it's been a good show tonight, bro.
Zuli, I've never heard anything like Zuli's experiences, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
I do believe her. She sounds very sincere.
Yeah, she does, and I'm going to bring her back for her own Wednesday episode where everybody can ask her questions live, and she can get more into it because I know she said she had a Ouija story that she didn't tell. And so
I was the other one with the Ouija story, but I can't follow that, bro. I can't follow that.
I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
All right, brother. So Stacy, what's your email?
Bigfoot Stacy 13, the number. So Bigfoot Stacy 13@gmail.com. And you
got you, brother.
Just shoot me your address and I'll send that out Tuesday to you, brother.
Excellent, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
I love the show, brother.
Hey, I'm glad you do, man. Well, have a good night, bro.
You too, man.
All right, buddy. Thanks. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be the show for tonight. Also, I'm going to be, like I said earlier, I know Christina just asked a question about my short films. A few of them are on there. I'm going to kind of re-drop those. They're all like horror kind of stuff, one or two of them is like comedy, but it's not Bigfoot related stuff. It's demons and just horror film kind of stuff, witches and all that. Hell film, 2 minutes long. I am going to be dropping really soon. I'll probably drop it to members for like a week and then put it out for everybody else. I didn't know if YouTube hates it if you post something that's not Bigfoot, right? Like right now, YouTube knows where to put my content. It's the people that watch Bigfoot. But if I put out something that's not Bigfoot related, then YouTube's like, what the hell do I do now? And so it will affect your channel poorly. However, we're going to roll with it anyways. If y'all are interested in seeing some of my short films, like the movies and stuff we make, I'll definitely post that up there. But the short film Tate is coming, and I think we're going to end up doing a Saturday release on that. I'll look for the best day, but it'll be promoted. Also, I'm going to start dropping shorts, not dropping my shorts, even though I am wearing shorts today. I'm going to be dropping shorts, and hopefully this week we will be up on Spotify, iTunes. I'll let all of you know about that. This Wednesday, got another great caller. So another good interview is going to be done. He's seen a Bigfoot on a golf course, and he's got photos to back it up. So pretty crazy, pretty wild stuff there. He's got some really cool tracks, and can't wait to show you all that. Got another interview coming to the house. Going to be out in the cave. Going to record that tomorrow, and also record another interview that y'all really going to want to see. So you're going to really want to see both of these. Like the encounter story that's coming to the house is killer. It really is killer. So probably going to drop that one this Friday. And then Thursday, I'm riding to Jimmy's house, and Friday we're going to Earl's house. So it's going to be a follow-up on the two guests that I had in South Georgia. We're going to go check their locations out, and I'll be dropping that for members content. And then probably a couple weeks later that'll switch to public as well. But that's all the time we have for tonight. What an amazing show. If everybody could please share the show, spread the word so we can get more calls like we got tonight. This was really neat because it started out like, whoa, is there going to be a call? Am I going to sit here and ramble for 2 hours because I didn't prepare anything? I just figured everybody would call. And then y'all called, and that was amazing. So everybody, till Wednesday,